From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
Welcome to the Primetime News Bulletin here on Joy News on Multi TV. Coming up, Group stages another demonstration against recent hikes in utility tariffs, accusing the government of insensitivity. Government, meanwhile, maintains there are enough subsidies already available to cushion the most vulnerable in society. Upper East Region Police rearrest suspect wanted in connection with a murder in August this year. As Kolebu celebrates 90 years of existence, we've been finding out about its legacy so far. A NPP National Executive Committee rejects proposal to hold presidential primaries before electing polling station, constituency, regional and national officers, and announces the contest for the various positions will begin from November 1. There's also business, sports, showbiz and international news all coming up.
News at 8 with Israel Lai.
Now, very first story, the Truth and Accountability Forum has asked government to reduce the recent increases in water and electricity tariffs to mitigate its impact on cost of living. The group's call was contained in a petition read out at the climax of a protest march, which took its members through some principal streets of Accra to press home their demands. Eric Curtis Howard, however, reports that protesters were far outnumbered by the police, who turned up in full riot gear.
It was a demonstration expected to attract a large number of Ghanaians, especially considering the issue involved. Yet, less than 20 people, comprising many members of the Truth and Accountability Forum, participated. In the end, the media and security forces far outnumbered participants. The procession itself started at the Obra Sports at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle in Accra, where members gathered as early as 7 a.m. Martin, do you have the numbers? How many people can you confidently say are part of this demonstration?
We are anticipating to have over 2,000 people. As I speak to you, I can say that we have a lot of people on the street.
A lot of people. Can you tell us numbers on the ground? How many people do you think are here for this particular demonstration?
For now, I can say that we are over 500 who have taken off here. And then a lot more people are joining. We have a lot of buses that were caught up in traffic, and they are also coming.
According to the Truth and Accountability Forum, the cost of living in Ghana is already high, and the fact that government had increased water and electricity tariffs meant they were insensitive to the plight of Ghanaians. Officials threatened an even bigger demonstration in the coming days if government fails to meet their demands.
It is not going to be one-off demonstration. This one, because of one or two reasons, we couldn't get, the expectation has been below. But the point is that after this demonstration, we are now going to embark on the real demonstration. Today is just the beginning of the battle. It's the first battle. And we are going to go on. We are going to amass a lot of people onto the streets, taking into consideration the experience gained from today.
The demonstration saw officials marching through the Parisco Avenue through to the ministries before finally converging at the Ifat Sutherland Children's Park.
We are also recommending that the government should do certain structural adjustments of the composition of the PURC themselves. And at the end of the day, we expect that the whole tariff must be withdrawn, and if government decides to reintroduce another rate, of which we don't expect more than 10%, because almost 80% is so atrocious and the common man cannot pay.
According to TAF, Thursday's demonstration has served as a guide to future demonstrations they intend to undertake.
Government, meanwhile, says subsidies it offered in the past to cushion the poor and vulnerable against electricity tariff hikes are still in place despite the latest increase. Information and Media Relations Minister Mahama Yarga was reacting to concerns raised by organized labor on hikes in utility tariffs at the daily briefing in Accra.
The Information and Media Relations Minister, Mahama Yarga, said the vulnerable in the society especially are the beneficiaries of these subsidies. Addressing the daily media briefing at the presidency, Mahama Yarga emphasized that for all the categories of consumers, unless for industrial purposes, those who are members of the Trades Union Congress are enjoying these subsidies.
All the category of consumers who are also members of, let's say, TUC, that is workers, will be members of the Trades Union Congress who are not using it for industrial purposes, but just ordinary workers. The analysis showed that all of them still continue to benefit under the existing subsidy regime.
He said President Mahama has tasked the Energy Commission to immediately embark on a campaign to educate Ghanaians on electricity wastage.
Go to promote unnecessary waste. And I think that is where the President is focusing on in terms of getting the Energy Commission, working with the Ministry of Energy to roll out a program that helps consumers to appreciate some of the practices that are wasteful. I mean, where it comes to building houses, how much of it, how many bulbs you should have in a room, and etc. They all go into issues of waste.
Mahama Yarga also responded to concerns users of prepaid meters are raising about the speed with which their credits are getting finished.
You slaughter an animal and you go and put it in the 3D freezers and keep it over a period of time. Then you look at the cost element. So these are some of the things, the attitudinal issues that we need to deal with, and hopefully we should be able to reduce our spending on utilities by about 30%.
The murder suspect who escaped from custody at the Bongo police station in the Upper East region 3 weeks ago, Anyagre Atinga Dombre alias Labista, has been rearrested. The jailbird has since been sentenced by a Bongo magistrate court to an 18-month prison term for unlawful escape from custody. He is meanwhile due to reappear before the court on October 23 for a continuation of the substantive case of murder which landed him in jail in the first place. Albert Sore reports.
News about Labista's escape was first aired on Joy News 3 weeks ago. He was being held in a police cell in Bongo pending his trial for allegedly stabbing one Ayu Atinga to death at Bongo Soy on August 20, 2013. He was still on the run when his case was called in court on the 18th and 25th of September. At the Bongo District Magistrate Court on Wednesday, the district prosecuting officer, Chief Inspector Nelson Zan, told the court that the murder suspect was re-arrested at Zio in neighboring Burkina Faso on October 2, 2013 with the assistance of the Burkinabe police, ahead of his reappearance on October 23, 2013 for his substantive trial for murder. The suspect's docket is expected to be forwarded to the Attorney General's office for advice in a possible transfer of the case to a higher court.
The National Executive Committee of the New Patriotic Party has decided to hold elections for various national executive positions from March 1 next year. The NEC meeting also decided against an earlier proposal which would have seen the election of a flag bearer before selection of other party officers. Director of Communications Perry Okujeto adds that the election of polling station executives will be held from November 1 this year.
The decision was taken at an executive committee meeting on Thursday. It brings to rest the controversy surrounding the election of party executives at the various levels. It had earlier been suggested that the party begins first with the election of the flag bearer, to be followed by elections for executive positions. This was, however, shut down. The NPP's communications director laid out the timetable for the elections.
As at Tuesday, the conclusions of those meetings were that the status quo should remain. Elections should be held starting from the polling station. Our polling stations and our electoral areas would start preparation for internal elections. And between tomorrow and the 30th of October, we expect them to do the education exercises and the compilation of the register and validation for the polling station elections. From the 1st of November to the 30th of November, we expect that all polling station elections will be held and the albums completed.
With the exception of the Eastern region, all other regions will then hold constituency elections on December 14.
Conspicuously missing in the calendar also is the flag bearer election and also the parliamentary elections for 2016. These have been set aside so that in due course, after these elections have been exhausted and a new executive put in place, they would then elect congresses to elect parliamentary candidates and also the flag bearer. The constitution of the party states that the flag bearer elections should be held not later than 24 months to the general election, which gives us between now and December 2014.
Perry Okujato debunked assertions that there were factions in the NPP, insisting the party has always opened itself to diverse opinions.
Our party is open to dialogue. And what happens is that when issues come up, they are open at all levels of the party to dialogue for party members to contribute and express their opinions. I believe that's the process that we went through in the last couple of weeks, where proposals were brought forth, discussions were made dispassionately about the way forward for the party, and a final decision has been taken. I believe this decision puts to rest all these issues that have come up about whether there will be an early Congress or not.
The Kolebu Teaching Hospital on Wednesday, October 9, turned 90. 90 years in the life of an institution would usually mean maturity, progress, prosperity, and the likes. But can the same be said of Ghana's premier health facility? Joining us this year, Fosua Jemfi attempts an answer to that question in the following report.
The sounds and melodies from the Kolebu Youth Choir seeks to thank the hospital for its immense services to the public over the years, Ghanaians and non-Ghanaians alike. It is no doubt the hospital is by far Ghana's largest health facility. Over the years, the hospital has seen several improvements in infrastructure and health delivery. The last 5 years, for instance, has seen a major facelift to the maternity ward, where hitherto patients and expectant mothers had to be attended to on mats drawn on the floor and with some giving birth right there. A new trauma and reconstructive plastic and burn center is also under construction to upgrade the hospital to international standards. Other projects currently underway include a national blood and transfusion service center, a new emergency children's ward, the hospital theatre rehabilitation project, and the provision of new equipment for the various departments of the hospital. Corporate bodies, NGOs, and some individuals have also lent their support to complement government's efforts. But the Kolebu Teaching Hospital is not without challenges. The hospital is still congested, while some machines at some of the theatre wards are obsolete and are gradually being replaced. There are fewer wards and places of treatment to cater for the teeming number of people who troop to the hospital for health care. The introduction of the National Health Insurance Scheme has also seen a huge rise in the number of patients who troop to the outpatients department and maternity wards on a daily basis. This has no doubt put immense pressure on hospital facilities. Dr. Anthony George Lynn is a first plastic surgeon at the hospital. He has been working there for more than 30 years and recounts his day at Kolebu way before he became a medical officer.
And I recall those days when we had matrons, how well the beds were arranged in the hospitals and the beds were made and furniture, everything prim and proper. and the whole atmosphere was different.
He notes even though there has been a lot of changes since his return to the hospital in 1993, water and electricity supply challenges, congestion and brain drain still remains.
We haven't been able, as far as I can recall, have continuous flow of water, even in the theatre. So there are times when you've scheduled a case for one reason or the other, the case may not come on because of water. Running water. Of course, we do make contingency plans to get water brought by a tanker, but that's not the ideal, is it? We need really clean water flowing from the tap. It makes our work very much easier.
Dr. Lane is, however, hopeful for the future. Acting Chief Executive of the hospital, Reverend Albert Boche, said the hospital will be going into preventive care in the coming years to improve upon its healthcare delivery.
We have been looking at creating awareness about diseases and sicknesses and other things, but we have to put a center where people could go and do a checkup. I mean, you don't have to be sick before you come to Korle Bu. You can also be healthy and come to Korle Bu and say that you want to do health screening, and that is also very important.
He admitted the hospital will require massive investment and reconstruction of some of its units to bring it in line with modern standards. At 90, Korle Bu, despite the challenges, is still the preferred referral center in the country. A massive investment in its operations is required to make it a world-class institution and also to attain its new mission to provide not just tertiary but quaternary healthcare facilities and services, training and research.
We have more stories coming up. Don't go away. The chiefs of people of Rompo in the Wenchi municipality of the Buenhafo region have expressed their displeasure at the dumping of human excreta very close to the community by the assembly. They are especially worried their only source of drinking water is being polluted by secretions from the dump site.
Urompo is a farming community about 5 kilometers away from Wenchi. River Kuradaso is the only source of drinking water. The only pipe stand constructed for the community has broken down due to pressure from the over 500 people in Urompo. Residents allege sanitary officers from the Wenchi Municipal Assembly in 2009 demarcated an area close to the river Kuradaso as a human excreta dump site. The Krontihini of Urompo, Nana Mensa Boachi, noted appeals to the Municipal Assembly to find another dumping site has failed.
This is a teacher for Korano holiday. Emma Omubafi, Omuntimin trans school ho. Pampania, a bus school hono. Ama, ya na Omuntimin traho. And what you know, what you crum cra, Pampano san crunum. What you crum Omuntimin trasi.
The traditional council hinted of setting up a task force to prevent the assembly from dumping human excreta at the site.
A person a koji pass if you police commander. Let's just say, you be typhus, you from your bay, you bet you, Ama Moasha say I de atite. Natamo Kano Bebano, a so Omumua, and ye, I'm here, you be Tirchino, and yes, and Papa, and Famaye.
The Wenchi Municipal Environmental and Sanitation Officer Samuel Efa declined to comment on camera but agreed the site is inappropriate as a dump site. He promised his men will go to the site at Urompo and address the situation before the end of this week. Nesta Kafuya Jomer's report.
Elsewhere, residents of Kufuria Zongo want their deplorable roads rehabilitated. Haruna Isif Wumpuni, who visited the community, reports residents have made several attempts to get their roads repaired but have not been successful.
The deplorable nature of roads in the community is a source of worry to residents. Some commercial drivers have declined plying roads in the area due to its poor nature. Some residents told Joy News the community get flooded anytime it rains and express worry that for the past 20 years development has retarded in the area.
Tazi and Fasho Kura, and Kangagaza in Sue to Teddy, and we just say Kura into a slab bancy, a panic show, the panic is running pie, you look to J. Or Mana Messi and Famay. Road Nusra, and yet, I quite in Swiss, finding me now. Now, all the car back cry, better me what police store and say, oh, Banna say, I just a candy you, no, near my good at saying, what's action, near Manadiaba. Yeah, no one knows now, cause now, Jay. Yeah, there are two some my name was still no, yeah, wish, although there are two penny for animals. I say, yeah, win your castle. On the juice about Comay, said the super are so cry. At the best rabbi. So we are more on wire. And the committee members, no. Open I account almost some of the consul. I buy my wire, be at your best, I say. I buy wire. Nay, a piano, on wire. And then I come in about 1 year day. A basso.
The sacks packed with sand just to block the erosion. The whole community, we are suffering. The erosion comes from the top, passing through this sack, knocking down through my house, even my car. Because of the erosion, I parked my car far away at the roadside. So we want the government to assist the community to make the road for us, because this time we are suffering.
They therefore want the Municipal Assembly to quickly come to their aid. The Assemblyman of the Community D electoral area, Selassie Amuzu, assured residents roads in the area have been awarded on contract and said the contractor will soon commence work. Selassie Amuzu explained that the Assembly has constructed 2 culverts to reduce flooding when it rains.
In regards to the bad nature of the roads in the Community D electoral area, it's a source of worry to myself and my new committee members, especially when it comes on the issue of this rains, torrential rains. But I strongly believe that I'm just appealing to the electorates that they should just calm down. The contractor is on site, and at the moment she's almost completing the Committee A and B routes, because when you look at the contract sum, Committee A and B, Committee D, which is this area, is part of the contract that will be awarded. However, the detailed contract is with the Abarus, New Jabi. But I'll just plead with them that the contract will come on site.
Haruna Yusuf Umpini's report from the Eastern region.
365 storybooks have been presented to the Ghana Library Authority by the Community Library Foundation. The foundation believes reading is another way of promoting development.
The sole objective of the Community Library Foundation is to ensure that the Ghanaian child cultivates the habit of reading. Speaking at the launch, Kojo Yanka, president of the African University College of Communication, said the state should do its best to enhance reading.
If you ask me, I would say that most of the problems we face in Ghana today is due to our inability to read and write. We have in Ghana men and women outside of government who are demonstrating their deep concern for this state of affairs that threatens to erode our much-hailed democracy. For what is democracy when only a tiny minority are very well informed and the rest are mere followers?
According to Secretary and Administrator Professor Kwame Ninsin, the Community Library Foundation is an initiative with far-reaching goals.
These are actually on rural communities. So if you see the list of beneficiaries, they are all outside the, mostly, not all of them, mostly outside the capital cities. Yeah. And this is to make up for the disadvantage that people outside the urban areas have in terms of access to reading materials.
President of the Ghana Writers Association, Kwesi Jana-Pintin, in his remarks as guest speaker, said the provision of community libraries throughout the country will ensure every Ghanaian child acquires the habit of reading and develop their full potential as citizens.
Many of us have bad memory. I am number one. I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, but I don't forget what I read in a book, which shows that I'm not a lost cause. It shows that a part of the memory works, and the more we use our reading skills, the more we recover our memory, especially as we grow old. Of course, improved writing skills, this is obvious, and also when you read, you are transported around to whatever level, to whatever country, to whatever world you want to be in. And so generally, you become a world citizen, you become a knowledgeable person and all the rest. So for these reasons, making sure that especially our young people inculcate this habit stands them in a very good place for their own personal development. Good.
Now, the people of Adaklu Amango Tideke are calling on government and other philanthropists to come to their aid to provide them with potable water, an educational facility and a health center. The small town between Ho and Kweto in the Volta region is home to an appreciable number of dropouts who are still hopeful of receiving formal education someday. Journey's Gifty Andopia was there several months ago and filed the following report.
I still don't see the camera.
Adaklu Amango Tideke, meaning Adaklu one mango tree, is almost a wonder world with exciting sights to behold. The two major features in the town are lots of children and goats who share kitchens and even bowls. Young men gather at the table set for them by young dropout females whom they have automatically made their wives through pregnancy, while the children simply look on. 20-year-old Ekluyawa is about 6 months pregnant with her second child. She dropped out of school at class 5 when she first got pregnant. For now, her main occupation is cooking for her husband and farming. Although she can hardly utter a word in English after 5 years in primary school, she has not given up. Bohapi is 18, a JHS 3 dropout. Her second child is 1 month old. She has limited knowledge on contraceptives and say condoms are sold only in neighboring Ho and Petoi, which are far from her town. She also hopes her dreams to go back to school will one day become a reality. The main occupation for the men here are either farming or kente weaving. For this reason, 17-year-old Bless has decided to drop out of school, weave for some money and put himself up in an apprenticeship.
I get some money, but that is why I close. I want go learn some work. That is why I close. Like if I take that money, go school, if you finish, that one means I will come look another one. That is why I close.
25-year-old Florence has one daughter. She was brought here through marriage. Her hairdressing salon doubles as her matrimonial bedroom. She fears the structure she lives in might break down one day because it has started leaking terribly. Their place of convenience is in the nearby bush. This is the toilet facility that the people of Adaklu Amango Tideke have constructed for themselves. This is what they've been using for a while. We understand that once this one gets full, they'll cover it up and make another opening which they could use as a toilet facility. It is situated quite apart from the township, and I'm wondering what happens when nature calls. You may have to run through the village into the bushes here. This is for both male and female, and so the gender of an occupant at a given time is determined by the hair from afar. The children here love to go to school. In fact, they remain in their uniforms hours after school. I attempted to find out from them what they have been learning in school, at least for that day.
What did you do in school today?
No.
What subject do you like best? You can't speak English. Can you speak English?
No.
Do you speak English in school? Where do you go to school?
Gafrakwete.
What's the name of your school?
Class 3.
Did you go to school today?
Yes.
What did you learn in school? Electricity is not a problem in Adaklu, Amango Tideke, but this is their only source of water. It is used for everything, from bathing to house chores. With the kind of water they drink and the absence of a health facility, they believe God has been keeping them healthy and alive during delivery. In view of these difficulties, the people of Adaklu say government, politicians and philanthropists must do more to enhance their living standards. Reporting for Joy News, Gifty Ando Apia.
Okay, I could imagine the little girl who was being questioned was a little tensed up because it was her first time on television. But anyway, that's one of the reports that has earned my colleague Gifty Ando Apia a place as a finalist of the CNN African Journalist of the Year Award, slated for this Saturday in Cape Town, South Africa. We wish Gifty all the best. We'll be back with business news.
Hello, time now for business. My name is Abigail Adomakoenchi. Now, the new board chairman of the Ghana Investments Promotion Center, Dr. Michael Ejekumado, says he strongly supports moves to encourage multinationals in Ghana to cede part of their business to indigents. Discussions are currently ongoing to enact laws that would compel some of these firms to give out a fraction of their firms to Ghanaians. Opponents of this proposal say it might discourage investors from investing in the country whilst forcing existing ones to relocate. But Dr. Ejekum disagrees. He is, however, wondering whether Ghanaians are positioned well enough to take advantage of the opportunity. Well, economists say government's quest to return to single-digit inflation could prove an elusive target under the present circumstances. They explain the ballooning fiscal deficits coming at a time the formula for computing inflation has also been rebased to make it more representative of the market situation, makes it more challenging. Others also contend the effects of petroleum prices and utility tariff increases will continue to increase the general price levels and further distort macroeconomic stability.
The Ghanaian economy has seen a number of reforms over the years which have presented some prospects and challenges to macroeconomic stability. The rebasing of the Consumer Price Index CPI basket led to the reduction in the weight of the food component of the index by about 1.3%, increase in the weight of transport by 1% and a further 2.5% increase in the housing, electricity, water and gas components of the non-food group. Economists who made these revelations at the Economy of Ghana Network AGN Phase 2 program of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research ISA indicated this reform, accompanied with increase in petroleum prices and utility tariffs, could put inflation on an upward trajectory.
It is the issue of ensuring that our economy is not petroleum-dominant economy. That is the key. That is the fear, because if it becomes petroleum dominant, the so-called Dutch disease becomes a problem for the country. So we need to guard against that. And the solution, the path to a solution, is to ensure that whatever resources that we collect from petroleum, that those resources are recycled into the economy, especially on the part of building infrastructure. The important thing to ensure that inflation does not go out of control. So we are at 11%, understanding. So let us ensure that we do not move toward 20%.
They believe government's fiscal deficits, which continue to threaten macroeconomic stability, could be raised if the borrowed funds are channeled into infrastructural development.
We borrow the money, and then the money is used for
infrastructure development and other developments that will reduce significantly the cost of doing business, then that is going to help manufacturers. Now, if businesses are thriving, then corporate taxes are going to go up. So they're going to pay more taxes, so we can use it to redeem part of the debt.
They urge government to open up for concessional funding in order to heavily invest in the country's infrastructural sector, which needs the most attention.
At the mining sector, the Ghana Mine Workers Union says it is not true that as many as 4,000 workers are to be laid off in the mining sector this year. Several mining firms have initiated plans to lay off some workers, mainly due to the falling gold prices and what has been described as a challenging business environment. The firms have since been engaging the union to finalize negotiations on the compensation packages for the workers to be affected. The union's General Secretary, Prince William Ankara, explains to Joy Business, contrary to the initial reports, less than 2,000 workers are to be affected. Now, Microsoft has appointed fellow at Imani Ghana Bright Simmons to the Advisory Council of the computer software giant. The council is expected to guide investments being undertaken by Microsoft in Africa. It is part of Microsoft's For Africa initiative, which was established in February this year as part of efforts to actively engage in Africa's economic development to improve its global competitiveness. As always, it's a pleasure bringing you business.
About what's making rounds in the world of sports, and it's all about the Black Stars, really. And former Black Stars defender Samuel Osei, who played a part in Ghana's first appearance at the World Cup in Germany 2006, has urged Ghanaians to be positive-minded as the national team strives to make a third successive appearance at the FIFA World Cup. Sammy Kufuor watched the team train and spoke to Joy Sports.
Playing against Egypt wasn't anything that people have to think about it. The 10 teams that qualify for the group stage or for the playoff, everybody can surprise everybody. So for us, the only thing that we can think it is positive. We should put all this negativity aside and think positive for the players, for the coach, and for the country. Just to relax, think about yourself, think about your mom, your family, and the nation. Just focus. You know, it's three things: concentration, dedication, and determination. I've been sitting in their seat before, and I know how we feel. You know, the only thing that you have to do is just give them the confidence. Let them feel special, and they can do it. If Ghana qualify, me and you, we won't even talk about the economy, isn't it? So why don't we just give them the morale, the support that they need?
Right, so more motivational messages coming in, and up next, the former president of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana, Abel Kwanzaa, is canvassing support for the Stars. According to Kwanzaa, the Black Stars is the country's most powerful tool of unity and wants to see all and sundry throw their support behind them. He spoke to Joy Sports.
All our problems, economic problems, whatever, the Black Stars are our only hope at Ghanaians at the moment. I mean, not much positive is coming out of our politics, not much is coming out of our economics, and football is leading us to, further lands. And that Brazil 2014, we must be there. And it is the duty of all of us as journalists to help promote the Black Stars. It is our main and only hope at the moment. For the ordinary Ghanaian, the main source of joy at the moment is football and our Black Stars. So I'm urging all of us as colleagues to try and promote this game to its maximum. We should not, indulge in the usual negativity. We should be positive and ensure that we encourage the Black Stars to go to Brazil.
From soccer to boxing now, and the Ghana Boxing Authority has confirmed to Joy Sports plans to put a modern multi-purpose gymnasium and revive the Ghana Boxing League for amateurs and semi-professionals far advanced. The country is still without a national gym and a competitive league to keep boxers in shape all year before bouts spring up. The situation has had some negative impact on the performance of our boxers, but President of the Ghana Boxing Authority, lawyer Peter Zwerne, says Ghana will turn on a new leaf soon.
Well, it's been at least 6 months now. There's a lot we are doing in the pipeline, you know, as far as trying to get sponsorship and all that is concerned. And I can say on authority, as we stand here, that we are in the process of signing an agreement with Metro TV for a commencement, a resumption, if I may say, of the boxing league. We used to call it 14 years back, depending on who was sponsoring. And we are going to do that again. We've gotten the gyms notified about this development, and between the end of the year now and possibly January, we should see it in full blown. Well, we are currently trying to get some sponsorship from some financiers in South Africa. We've had some communication. We've put that before the board. We are looking at various locations where they want to site. In their case, it's not just a gym. They want to site a multi-purpose stadium with boxing as the focus. You understand me? And we intend to get the sports ministry involved for its blessings, because they are the ones, the sector ministry, so that we can take it up from there. So we are quietly working on that as well.
Right, so back from boxing, we're back to football and to Richard Kinsing and the controversial call-up that was handed him by Coach Kinsing.
It's not been easy for the man, isn't it?
I'm told there's we have a whole lot coming up.
Every single day something comes up, names, hymns are being composed, names for this man. But I think we'll just have to look at it this way.
How is all that impacting on him as a person?
I think it's helping him, because even though it's negative, it's forcing him to bring out the best. And if you've watched it very clearly to what was happening today at the Baba Sports Stadium, clearly the reports were receiving that he put up a massive performance. Now he's out there to prove to Ghanaians that he's not that old man they're talking about. And I think maybe that might be the trump card for us, really, because the man is coming out and he's really wanting to prove
best,
yes, and make the point. So I think it's obviously there. And the issues, yes, he's old, he looks old, and you can see that clearly. But I think that he's going to come out and give us the best on the day. No doubt about it.
I'm told one of the phrases, one of the words that has been coined after him is oleleism.
There is oleleism, and that means, and we have oleleism, or we have olele facts. A lot of things, including how Okonfa-Notche hasn't returned because he has not found the birth certificate of Olele Kinsey. But let's keep all of these things down, yes, on the light side. But let's try and look up to it. We need to qualify. We really need to qualify. We need to be Egypt. I know it's going to happen, definitely.
Thank you very much, Jordan Jr. with the sports. The death of Ghanaian statesman and literary icon Professor Kofi Awono in a terrorist attack in Nairobi, Kenya, about a fortnight ago was said to have dealt a major blow to Ghanaians in general, but primarily to the literary circle he belongs. A state funeral is expected to be held on Friday, October 11 at the National Theatre for the late poet. This comes on the heels of a private funeral ceremony held last Thursday in accordance with his wishes. Ahead of the state funeral, though, Mia Kofi Smart Abe has been speaking to the Secretary General of the Pan-African Writers Association, Professor Atukwe Okai, a contemporary of Professor Awono. He first asked him how he remembers the late professor.
I remember him very fondly. When we meet, there is a code between the two of us, because Professor Awono told such jokes that we were all down with laughter.
Am I right in assuming that he somewhat influenced you in terms of writing and probably how you write?
Not how I write, okay. But the very idea of writing, the idea especially of writing from your people. Because, you know, he was so particular about keeping close touch with his people, with his traditions, that the Ewe form of poetry influenced his writing and his work.
For you, which of his works stands out for you as a person?
Oh, I like very much the novel This Earth, My Brother, and his volumes of poetry.
What tribute would you be paying to him? Have you written, say, a poem in his honor or something new for him?
Yes, I'm preparing to have a poem for him, and the title will be The Accountants of Our Dream.
I know it's work in progress, but I'm getting more curious by the minute. Why that title?
Because you will discover that in the poem when the poem is finished.
That's it for Showbiz. Now, before we go a quick run through our top stories, the Truth and Accountability Forum has staged another demonstration against recent hikes in utility tariffs, accusing the government of insensitivity. Government, meanwhile, maintains there are enough subsidies already available to cushion the most vulnerable in society. Police in the Upper East region have rearrested a suspect wanted in connection with a murder in August this year. And as Kolebu celebrates the 90 years of existence, we've been finding out about its legacy so far. And the MPP National Executive Committee has rejected proposals to hold presidential primaries before electing polling station, constituency, regional and national officers, and announced the contest for the various positions will begin from November 1. That's it for the bulletin. Have a good evening.